doing it.
Hello. Hey, here we are.
Oh my gosh, we're doing it.
Ah,
What up,
buddy? Hi,
feel like
Amanda.
Hi. I feel like I need some like sound effects.
I know, we need like fireworks.
Works. Oh, all right. So who's here? So this is fun because we've never multi-streamed. So
I know. I've been on yours, you've been on mine. We've done lives together, but this is our first multi-stream.
yeah.
Super cool.
Look at us learning stuff.
I know. If anybody was on last night, you would have seen our live testing.
Y'all are the real heroes.
It was pretty funny because we were, trying to figure it all out, but
Yeah.
here we are.
Good stuff right there now. So who else here tonight? So I see Siegel Media. I see Huddle Adventures.
Yeah.
Moonlight. Let's see, they're here.
MGM, Bill and Lucy.
Yeah.
Hi, guys.
Howie Cruz is here.
Eddie Lugo. Hi, Eddie. Siegel Media. Hello.
Let's see.
SCT. Hey, guys.
What's up? Laura's here. See, Zisha's been here since like 7. He's the real winner here tonight.
We got a couple of you who've been hanging out since last night. So you guys, you get the gold star. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. You said Eddie. Anita, how are you tonight? Hey, Anita, I took a screenshot of that, so I got you for tomorrow. And Anita said every night, or tonight's great because she didn't have a kitchen to clean.
So fun. Hey, guys.
What's up, T. Hansen? Ooh, Ocean to Ocean Travel? That must be on your guys' channel. I don't recognize that name, but I like it.
So something interesting we're learning about the lives are, because we're both like multi-streaming. It streams from Have Luggage Will Travel. It streams from How We Cruise, and different chats will appear in different streams, but we also have a main stream. So I think we are not exactly sure where the chats are coming from.
Yeah.
But working our best with you guys.
Yeah.
You do see them all. We just
don't know whose channel they're on. What's up, Parkers? We just got through watching you guys.
Hey.
John Bourbon has some excellent content from that test. I bet he does. Y'all didn't watch John Bourbon this morning. You should. It was pretty good.
Eddie, yo, Brooklyn, baby.
Look, T. Hansen's on the breeze.
Here today, where tomorrow. Hello, guys. All right, so let's talk about like why we're here.
Let's do it.
All right, so, Amanda, Have Luggage Will Travel, and Josh and Brian and I with How We Cruise. Both travel with kids and with families. And I mean, it's part of why we do what we do and how we do what we do. And we've been chatting and talking, and we realized that, there's a lot of information that we have that is very specific to our niche.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So
mama ain't easy.
So we wanted to get together and kind of see what we could do to help others who are in, similar.
Yeah.
Well,
and we have such a good age range of kids. You've got, you've got your youngest who is getting close to turning 8.
Mm-hmm.
I've got my oldest who just turned 14. I mean, that's a pretty big age gap there.
Yeah. And, we've come along the way too. So we can go. I mean, the first time that we cruised, Ryan was 18 months. And man, I have some stories. We really have stories.
Because we didn't do that.
Yeah, and it was only one. But I got to tell you, at the time, we thought one at 18 months was a handful.
Yeah.
We had no idea. Now we have 3 that are a little bit older. And yeah, yours are there's preteen and teen years, and we cover the gamut.
We really do. And I didn't realize that you guys cruised with him at 18 months old. Wow. We purposefully waited until ours were a little bit older because we're like, I don't want to cruise with babies.
Mm-hmm.
So
true story about that. So Brian was 18 months old, and we've always cruised. My family's always cruised. I've always cruised. Brian's 18 months old, and we decided it was a Thanksgiving cruise. And we decided, okay, we're going to go on this cruise and we're going to take our 18-month-old. And there's all kinds of stories about that specific cruise. But ultimately, we got off that cruise and we realized he's a handful at home. It's not any easier. I mean, like tenfold, right? So we're ready to like not do that again for a while. Our friends, our families, they're all going on cruises since then. And there's this big family and friend, like group cruise. And we are being peer pressured to no end to go on this cruise. Now, at the time, Brian now is like a year older, maybe 2 years older, and I'm pregnant. And I am like, there is no way. You cannot pay me enough. You can't pay me to go on this cruise. I have a kid that I already did this with, and I'm pregnant. Like, I just don't feel well, and I'm just like out here, and I'm just like, no, this is not happening. Oh, yeah, no. We did not cruise again until he was 9.
Okay, so y'all took a pretty good break.
We took a big break. Yeah. I get it. I get it. You get it. Like, I said, like for a solid 4 years, we weren't leaving the house with our 3 kids.
Yeah. So, hey to everybody who has joined us. Let's see. So we've got a question here on screen. I'll hold that for just a second. But I will say that there was somebody I wanted to say. Oh, Anita Inslee cruises with a 12-year-old. So she can definitely relate to where we're all at.
Definitely.
And okay. Let's see. Aim Liz says, hey, Julie. All right. So question, how do you balance spending time with the kids and the family, but still having time for just you and your husband? Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I was going to say, you take that one first because yours are a little older. So I think, yeah, you can.
So my kids are older. So our first cruise with them back in 2019, they were still in Camp Ocean and it was not their favorite. They were like, I don't want to go there. And so that cruise was very hard. It was completely a family cruise, which is okay. We were taking them on a family vacation, right? But I also know that there are things on the cruise that I want to enjoy that I can't take my kids to. So now that they're older, they're 12 and 14, they're both in Circle C at this point. They really enjoy Circle C. It's a whole different thing. And I don't know if it's the ability to come and go as they please. They can participate in whatever activities they want to. They don't have to participate in the other ones, or what it is. So they spend a lot of their time in Circle C when it's open, which in turn gives us time to do grown-up things while they're doing kid things, and everybody's happy. So that's what we do.
Yeah.
Circle C.
I can't wait to get there. Because I'm going to be totally honest. The way we balance things are, so since we've come back from the pandemic, our kids' first cruise, well, that Brian remembers, younger, and then the 2 younger ones, was this past December. It was the day after Christmas we left, and it was a New Year's cruise. And, yeah, they were not into the kids club. They did not want to do any of that. And it was just us with the 3 of them. And we spent the entire vacation with them. We didn't get any, just me and Brian time. And I mean, would we have liked it? Sure, definitely.
Yeah.
But it was okay because you know what? Like, they're only this young for that long. And, it's a vacation. It's a family vacation. And whether we were there or in, Wildwood or,
right,
Pleasant or Disney or anywhere else that we would have been, it would have been the same.
Right. You'd have been with them 24/7.
Right. So, it was a family vacation and they were just with us and, that was it. They went to bed. We always make sure we do like a balcony. And part of the reason we had adjoining rooms at that point, and there were adjoining balcony rooms. The kids did have their own room with an inner door. Yeah. And we had our own room. So we could put them down. I'd go sit on the balcony. Brian would run down and get us a drink. And we sit out on the balcony and have a good night. And then we go to bed, which was kind of like our us time. Mm-hmm. Because they were not feeling the kids club, and that's okay. We weren't upset. I mean,
yeah.
Then we went again in April. We went around spring break time. Again, it was just us. Same thing. It was Royal versus Carnival, so it was 2 different kids clubs, 2 different ships, 2 different, completely different itineraries.
Right.
And again, they were not feeling the kids club. We had a great time with them. We were in 2 interior rooms that were next to each other on that ship, so we did have our own room. They had their own room, but we were super close. We were down with them at night. And then we went one more time. So we were just on in June on Oasis of the Seas. We were with a big group. It was like 35 of us ish. And my parents were on with us. That was a huge help. I mean, the
Oh
kids,
yeah. Yeah.
huge help. My parents were next door to us. They had to sleep over, or,
For
so even
grandparents.
yeah, exactly. Even Brian says it in some of our vlogs and stuff, even though we were in the club, like my kids they've tried it and whatever. For them, when we get a little older, they're going to be more into it. That's what I hear. But so each cruise was very different in itself. But you balance it the way it is. It's a family vacation, and you roll with it because
Yep.
good time. You're paying for vacation. You might as well.
Right. Yeah, and that talking and them growing out of Camp Ocean and into Circle C, we like watched it and we were like, mm. As a matter of fact, our first cruise after the shutdown, they were eligible for, well, Philip was eligible for Circle C, Mallory wasn't, but they did let us bump her up. I didn't even sign them up for Circle C when we checked in for the cruise because I anticipated them disliking it.
Yeah.
And so now when we check in for the cruise 2 weeks in advance, they're like, did you sign us up for Circle C? Have you already done that? Because if I sign them up when we check in, I don't even have to go to Circle C. They can go by themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
right. It's the opposite, right?
Yeah. So here's our next question. How is it in a room with 5?
Real quick, just to jump back one before we address that question. Yeah. If you are going, no matter what line you're going on, if you're going on with kids, regardless of whether or not you plan on using the kids clubs or whatever age or level they are, register them. So I know some cruise lines, the minute you're checked in, they're automatically registered. Other cruise lines, you actually have to go and register them. And things have changed since the pandemic. Yes. Because things are just it just upturned everything. 100%. So regardless of what line you're on and where we are in whatever, just make sure they're registered so it's an option.
Absolutely. Agreed.
So what we're on, how is it in a room of 5? So I guess that one's for me because
that isn't for
me. Not bad. I got to tell you, I was not excited about it because when we went in December, we had 2 adjoining rooms, so it was 3 and 2 with an interior connection. Yeah. And that was fantastic. We had lots of room. It was really, really good. I thought it was going to be really difficult with 5, but it really wasn't that bad. We had a Pullman down from the ceiling. We had a bed, the couch that pulled out, and then we had a double bed. Now, of course, they come and they make up your room. This is on Royal Caribbean. They do it twice a day. So they would fold it up during the day so we could come in. We still had a couch. The Pullman was not, it was pulled up, but it wasn't actually like all the way up in the ceiling. Mm-hmm. So we had room to actually use our room during the day, although we were never there during the day.
Right.
And it, probably the biggest struggle is having one bathroom.
Yeah.
But other than that, it wasn't bad because we were just there to sleep.
Yeah. So Anita's got a couple of questions, but right quick, this just for kicks and giggles. Gary would like to know if he can join, even though he's not a mother.
Of course.
Gary.
Everybody's welcome here. It's funny, me and Amanda, we were talking a lot about what should we call this, right? Because we're like, listen, this is the ins and outs of what we do, right? We're like, we had this idea. We wanted to talk about traveling with kids, traveling with families, like how we plan, how we prep, what we do, what struggles we run into. Yeah. How hard is it to do different things? And we did not want to exclude everybody because this is an all-inclusive conversation. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So what is something fun to do with our 12-year-old in either Belize or Costa Maya? You wouldn't know that because you don't have a 12-year-old, but have you guys been to either of those ports?
Yeah. Belize we have not been to since Brian was 18 months. Okay. But Costa Maya, absolutely love. How about you?
So I've not done Costa Maya. We just recently did Belize, and we did a snorkeling excursion and really enjoyed it. We
Yeah.
snorkeled the Mesoamerica Reef at Golf's at, what's it, Golf's K or Key or something, little bitty tiny private island. However, at last I heard, and my kids really enjoyed it, by the way. Last I heard, the island is closed for maintenance. But when I tell you it's small, you can literally see from one side of the island to the other while you're standing on the pier.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Um, Costa Maya is an absolutely fantastic port. I really, really love Costa Maya. We went to La Chincolewense, I'm practicing that, when we were there last, and we got an all-inclusive package. It was not with the ship. We went down to Mahual. There's a strip there. It was by the Crazy Lobster and a bunch of the other places that you may have heard of. And they had snorkel gear and they had food and drinks on the beach. It was really nice. We really had a great time. The kids had an okay time.
Mhm.
And I think that it really depends on your kid. I mean, let's talk about 12 years old is a tough age, right?
It really is. Everything's not cool and da 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 da. So
They're truly a mix between being a kid
yes,
and being like
teen.
older.
Yeah,
And they like nothing is cool, right? Like so that they don't fit in with the older crowd
right.
necessarily. They don't fit in with the
Yep.
younger crowd. So feel out your child.
Yeah,
I,
so
and
Mallory loves the snorkeling. So that's she's in her zone she loves animals and wildlife. So
I,
that's why she loves that. If your kid is into history, take them on some of those
yeah,
tours to go see some of that historic stuff.
that's kind of what I was thinking. I was like, if you have a kid that actually likes some of that stuff, I mean, some of the Mayan ruins and stuff are
Yeah,
really, really cool.
yeah, go see it.
I'm kind of gauging the right age to take our kids to that because I can't wait to do that, but I
Yeah.
definitely don't want them to be absolutely
See,
bored out of
we
their
haven't
mind.
done that yet because ours would be bored out of their mind.
But
Hey, Beth, I don't know who Beth is. I think she might. Oh, she's on Facebook. She said her room is cramped with 5.
it's, it's gonna be a lot more cramped when they have more kids in there too. Just saying.
Right. What is your number one thing you take with you to make travel with kids easier?
That's a great question.
That's a
Do you have a go-to thing that you bring?
To coin the words of somebody, because I don't remember who said it. I think it was Siobhan. Pack your patience. That's the number one thing.
Oh, wait, we're freezing a little bit. Hold on.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. Okay. I lost you for a second. I know.
I want to say it was Siobhan who said it when she was talking about going to Miami. Somebody said it when they were talking about going to Miami. Maybe it's Teresa. Maybe it's Siobhan. I don't remember. Pack your patience. That is the number one thing I can say to bring when you're traveling with kids.
I pack my husband.
Oh my gosh. And but seriously though, like, oh, these kids, just bless their hearts. I love them to death.
Yeah. I will say that we try to stay away from the electronics and things. In all seriousness,
Yes.
we're on a cruise. We're
Right.
on vacation. We are doing things. There is so much to do. There's so much whatever. We do try to limit that. That's not to say that we don't have them with us, especially if we're driving. And you can see that in some of our vlogs. I mean, ugh. But
Josh is right, laundry basket. However, my children don't use it. I do. I have to go into the room and pick their dirty clothes up.
just like at home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Listen, when you're on vacation and you're with your kids, it's nothing more than parenting away with them. I mean, like that's
For
it.
sure. That's why I'm so excited to be platinum on Carnival. At least they'll do my laundry. Only a mom can understand
Only
that.
you
Or
could be platinum at home.
what?
If only you could be platinum at home.
I know, right? Sure. Anita, nothing. You just need their name and date of birth. When you're checking in for your cruise, it knows how old they are and you can sign them up. It takes about, I don't know, 10 seconds to sign them up for Circle C. So it's super simple in the check-in process. Did you see this one from Siegel Media?
We've been wrangling kids on a cruise for 16 years. 16 years between our oldest and youngest. Wow. Man.
A long time.
Yeah.
Oh, so one of the coolest things I saw when we were on Carnival last time is now, I don't know how long they've had this because neither of my kids are on the autism spectrum that we know of, And they have these autism kits that you can go get. And they have like noise canceling headphones, and they had like, I don't know, fidget toys, just different things like to help with kids with like sensory overload issues. And I was like, that is the coolest thing. Way to go. I loved that.
It's fantastic. So, I mean, I don't, a lot of you who are tuning in right now may not know this, but I actually work with kids with special needs, and I work with kids with autism, and actually, people of all ages, with special needs. And yeah, there are some, we're making, the cruise ships are moving along with being able to make accommodations, and Carnival has some awesome kits, some sensory kits that are really, really great. And yeah, it's really a cool kind of advancement that we're getting to. And it can be, the struggle is real. I'll say this too: the sensory needs for kids of all ages. You get on vacation, you get on a ship, and you get in a bunch of people in a new atmosphere, and it's sensory overload for just about anyone. So, anyone who is dealing with autism or on the spectrum, struggle is real.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
even if you are have not had experience in that realm, it's challenging. It's challenging to get in a new atmosphere and to get with a new routine. And
Everything
my
changes,
advice,
and then it changes right back
my
again.
advice, actually, the one I was thinking about before here, if I had any one bit of advice for anybody traveling with kids, whether you're traveling with kids who are young or old or have special needs or do or not, or anywhere, or whoever you are, if you're traveling, especially with kids, try to find any kind of piece of routine. So whether it's they have their lammy or their stuffy or their blankie, and you stick to a bedtime, or whether it's they have their same type of meal at dinner time, or whether it's the same thing routine in the morning, try to stick to that, because that will definitely help,
Mm-hmm.
in my two
Yeah.
cents. Amanda, do you have any thoughts on easing that transition from home life to the different routine of being away?
See, I don't, because my kids, they don't struggle with the routine change. They're good. They're pretty go with the flow in that aspect of their life. Um, which I consider that a blessing, because I know I have friends, personal friends who have kids. One of them has Asperger's, and like a change is detrimental. And they went on a cruise, and it was a disaster because of that. Um, so yeah, I 100% agree. If you can keep some aspect of their routine the same, then do it. Do whatever you can do for them.
Yeah, routine. Um,
Here today, where tomorrow. I'm the stay-at-home dad and main content creator. You rock. I don't know your name, but rock on, Dad. I love it. He wants to be platinum at home.
I'm trying to keep up with the chat here. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm way behind. I'm holding on
Sorry, guys.
questions. Let's see. Let me know if I've missed any questions, but let's see.
I'm seeing a lot of the guys are here too, but not
Philip
talking.
says to leave them at home. I do. We do. We do at least once a year. Oh, Anita says bring the Benadryl.
We actually, one of the funniest comments I ever read, because I didn't realize I did it, is it was on our spring break cruise this past April, and I'm talking about getting out of the house, and I posted this video, and I'm like, and we need to stop on the way, because we were driving from here to Port Canaveral, and I'm like, we need to stop on the way and get some things. One of them was melatonin. I'm like, yeah, we got to pick up melatonin. It helps the kids. And the comment was, I cracked up when you said we got to get melatonin. It helps the kids. And I'm like, well, really? Like, that's what we do. We definitely needed it. But like to me, it was so normal. Like, we could not go on a cruise without melatonin to help the kids settle down.
I like some melatonin now. I'm not going to lie. With your experience,
melatonin, whatever you need.
right? With your experience with the kids club, would you feel comfortable with little ones there?
That's a great question. So your kids like Circle K, but had they ever have they ever gotten to the younger groups?
Well, yeah, in 2019 they were both in Camp Ocean, but that was the lowest we've been as far as age. And I know that you can drop them off as early as 6 months.
Yeah. Yeah, they do have to be potty trained. Or not, well, not at 6 months. I'm
Not
sorry.
every 6 months. I hope they don't.
Sorry. The older kids, the 3-year-olds and up, have to be
Yeah.
potty trained. They can't be going into whatever, but some of the younger ones that have the babysitting and whatever. But so let me tell a really, really quick story. I am totally comfortable with sending my kids to the kids club. I really, really am. Since before I had kids, I remember traveling with my niece and nephew, and we were always okay with it. I still am. But we had a recent experience where my son was 9. We were on a Carnival ship, and they asked, did we want him to be able to sign himself out? And we said, well, yeah. You know what? He immediately was familiar with the ship. He knew how to get himself around. Okay, no problem. If you're not having a good time, or if your brother and sister want us, because we didn't feel the need to get a walkie-talkie or anything. Right. They're limited, so we don't want to take them from somebody who might need one. If they're us, you sign yourself out, come get us, and we'll come get you. Mm-hmm. What we didn't, I'm going to make this really brief, but what we didn't understand was, and what they did not convey to us, that is, if you're allowed to sign yourself out at 9 years old, you're allowed to stay there until 10 o'clock, unless you're allowed to sign yourself out. Mm-hmm. At 9:45, they tell all the kids who are allowed to sign themselves out, okay, guys, it's time to sign yourselves out. It's time to go.
Even if mom's not there, or dad, or whomever?
Even if mom and dad aren't there, because they're allowed to sign themselves out. They have the permission. So Brian and I were expecting to come up at 10 o'clock and get all 3 kids. We hadn't heard from Brian. We thought everything was fine. So we walked up. We walked up at 5:02, 3:02, 10 o'clock. It was like 9:55, 9:56, 9:57.
Yeah.
It's a ship. We were right there. We were 2 floors down. We walk up. Brian and Kevin are there. Or, I'm sorry, Kevin and Katie are there. They're in tears because Brian's not there. And we're like, what do you mean Brian isn't here? And they're like, well, he was able to sign himself out. Long story short, this video has not been I have not posted it yet. I will post it. It's still in my queue somewhere. Brian was really, really upset because he's a super rule follower. Yeah. He thought he was told he had to sign himself out at 9:45. So he was now looking for us on the ship, but we were up trying to get Kevin and Katie. Am I comfortable?
That's a big scary ship.
Absolutely. I would have never said that he couldn't sign himself out if I wasn't okay with him walking out of the ship, or out of the kids club. That said, please be sure you're clear on everything. You know exactly where your kid's going to be, when they're going to be there, and all of the policies and procedures.
Well, especially if they have no way to communicate with you.
That's the hardest part.
What do you think about the curfew that Carnival just put out? I'm a huge fan.
Huge fan. Me too.
With kids that fall in that age range, I am 100% on board. Not that my kids were out past 1 a.m. because Circle C closes at 1 a.m. on most nights. And they have scheduled events until 1 a.m. Like, they're doing things, and I know that they're in there doing things because they come home and they're beep, 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 talking about them. So that's not the issue. I just don't want the wrong kid to say, hey, Philip, hey, Mallory, let's go ding dong bitch, or whatever you would call it on a cruise ship. I don't want my kids, they've not been in that group. They've never done that. And I'm not saying that they would. I just don't want that influence to be there. So I love that they're just nixing it.
I'm not there yet. I mean, my kids are a little bit younger. So I'm a believer that it's hard to speak for anything that you're not completely and totally immersed in at that point. But I like to think that there's really no reason, unless they're in the kids club or kids activity, that I want my 13 or 14-year-old or my 16 or 17-year-old to be wandering the ship around at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Honestly, I'm not okay with them being awake at that time. I'm okay with us as a family being out to go get, I still take my 10-year-old, my 11-year-old, it'll be midnight and we'll go get pizza together.
Yeah.
And I get it. your 16-year-old, 17-year-old might not want to go get pizza with you at midnight or 12:30 or 1 o'clock in the morning. But then they should be, they don't need to be running around the hallways.
No, they don't. So I love that they made it all the way up to 17 and below. I love it. I am a fan. If they're that old, nothing good happens after midnight.
I also believe
that all the time.
It takes a village. I do believe a village. I believe that if, we've gotten so cautious in our society today, and we have to be careful because, everything, you can be misunderstood in these venues. And I'm on YouTube, but I'm going to say, like, I do believe in helping each other out. And when we do see a kid or a child or a minor doing something they shouldn't be doing, just reminding them, like, what would your parents think if they saw you doing that right now?
Oh, we had that experience on The Dream. We were dressed up for fancy, elegant dinner, captain's table, something. I don't remember what Philip was in a suit for. And this kid who Philip had met in Circle C, so he's between the ages of 12 and 14, walks up behind Philip, drops a cuss word and says, beep. And Josh immediately spins around and says, hold on. You're not going to talk like that, especially around my kids. And the kid was like, oh, yes, sir. But seriously, like, would he say that in front of his mother? Probably not. I mean, maybe, but probably not.
Yeah.
And so it just all relates back to that. It takes a village thing.
Yeah, it does. It really does. And you know what? It's okay to remind kids that, those eyes are everywhere.
Yeah.
Sometimes they think as soon as mom and dad are out of sight, they're free to go. But
no,
I appreciate that for my own kids, right? I want somebody to remind my kid, hey, listen, I see you.
Yep. Yeah, I am always watching. And Philip asked me the other day, he was like, why are you always looking at me in church? I'm like, because I'm going to know what you're doing all the time, because that's my job.
Yeah.
So, do you care about the kids eating too much junk food or drinking too many sodas? Nope. Sure don't.
Vacation.
Right?
Vacation. Will I cut them off at some point? I mean, if they're being out of hand or ridiculous, but you know what, dude? You know what? Have fun.
Have fun. It's your trip too.
Have 75 ice creams. If you can have 75 ice creams, what? Don't cry to me when you have a bellyache.
Right. Philip's now lactose intolerant. He should probably not have 75 ice creams.
That's right.
So that's terrible. We had an experience with a 2-year-old who was found out on the deck, who was on the deck alone. I mean, what if that baby would have fallen into a swimming pool? Holy cow. That is horrible.
That's scary.
That's terrible. Like, that scares the heck out of me.
Alone. However, I mean, how did that happen?
I don't know. That's
I'm going to jump ahead to, Katie was 6 when we were on the Carnival Magic, and we were sitting right outside of the bathroom doors. And she's like, and we had already gone like 3 times. And she asked, could she go to the bathroom? I said, sure. We watched her walk over there. And, she was like right there. And she walked out and she just turned the wrong way. And we turned our head the other way. You never know how this stuff happens. And they're super fast. You can and turn your head and they're in the clothing rack, like.
Well, it got away from me when he was 2 years old one time. And it was the scariest time of my life. And I was like, you know how we moms are. I was panicking and found him in the ladies' bathroom sitting in the stall and rolling the toilet paper. Gary doesn't like to.
You can laugh now, but you certainly weren't laughing that day, right?
Oh, no, I was not. Well, where we were, if he would have went outside, it's in a wooded area and there's no fence. Like, he could have went off in the woods, wandered, So that was what got me. But Gary still doesn't cuss in front of his mother. Good job, Gary. We're proud of you for that. Philip
should be.
Philip was challenged to a Shirley Temple drink-off by a 14-year-old girl on Carnival Cruising Podcastaways podcast. It was Thomas's niece. They got to talking about it, and you'd have to listen to it. It was pretty hilarious. And so Philip was like, challenge accepted. So he was in here doing the math of like, okay, if I can get a drink every 5 minutes, I can drink this many in an hour, and I'm going to do that. And we were like, pump the brakes.
Did you post that yet or just talk about it?
We just talked about it. It was on their podcast.
because I remember hearing or seeing the talk about it, but I don't remember seeing the actual result. Like,
well, no, this just happened. That podcast just came out Saturday.
Okay.
So he said on his next cruise that he's going to take that challenge and beat that challenge.
Well, Shirley Temples are definitely my kids' drinks, so they are all about the Shirley Temple.
Yeah, Philip discovered them on the cruise in 2019. He discovered that like he could get them on the drink package. And oh my gosh, I absolutely lost count how many he had, but we sat and tallied it up and it was pretty hysterical actually.
Yeah.
So we're just like, yeah, sure, whatever. But we're like, you're not going to drink as many as you can technically drink in an hour. That's probably not healthy. We are going to stop you there.
That goes back to the do you stop them? It's like, you know what, you don't stop them to a point until like you're like, okay, like now you're just a little addict.
Now you're pushing it just a little bit too far. Oh my gosh. I'm sorry, my phone just dinged because we just got another YouTube subscriber.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
What are you guys at?
We are at 980. We are
980. All right. So listen, if anybody's in this chat and they are not subscribed to Have Luggage Will Travel, please subscribe to them because they are super close to hitting that 1,000 marker. If you are a creator, you know that 1,000 is a big deal, and if you're not a creator, 1,000 is a big deal. It's a big deal. So they're so close. So please, subscribing, it does not cost a thing. It doesn't mean anything. You're not going to get emails. You're not going to get whatever. It just means that like they're on your playlist of things when you log into YouTube. So
you can drink Dr. Pepper Zero.
and they do have amazing content. So, and I'll say the same for How We Cruise too. If you're not subscribed to How We Cruise, please subscribe to us as well.
Please, absolutely.
Because if you're in this chat, it's probably because you wanted to log on because you either want to see me and Amanda be our silly selves.
They're so fancy. Hey, so Josh said he had traveling with Kevin on his first 5-day cruise. That's how many he had. 27. On a 5-day cruise. And out of Galveston, the drink package doesn't start until day 2.
Katie was keeping track of her ice cream cones, and she'll tell you, she's like, I had like 20 on the one day and like 25 on the other day. I don't know if she's right or not because I wasn't counting. I believe her.
It's hysterical. Laura, Addie is Thomas's niece from Carnival Cruising Podcastaways. Thomas and Trevor, she is Thomas's niece. And I'm telling you, she said that episode might surpass mine and Josh's episode of their most downloaded. Because currently we hold the record for their most downloaded episode. But I look for that episode to surpass us, which would be awesome because it was so fun. It was such a fun episode. And it really relates back to what we're doing. So if you're interested and you want to know more, go listen to that podcast. It was a good time. All right, what else?
Anyway, I don't know. Do we have another question? Because I actually have a question. I've been thinking about what, like, when you guys get on a cruise ship, and because your kids are a little bit older, other than Circle K, because we know that they're like
Circle K is a gas station,
like Circle C. I think kids, whatever. What is their very favorite thing to do? Like, what's their favorite thing about cruising, or what is their favorite thing to do on a ship?
The food. They love to be able to go and get whatever they want, whenever they want to eat. They think that that's just the grandest thing. Like Mallory will just tear the burritos up. And Philip, before he became lactose intolerant, was like killing the ice cream. He's actually pretty bummed about that one. And they really just love meeting kids their age. It's so funny because in real life, Philip's pretty introverted. Like, you've seen us on FaceTime. He's pretty introverted. He gets on these cruises though, and like, he's a different kid. But he was so funny because on our last cruise, he carried his whale around. If you've seen those vlogs, you've seen Shamu.
I did. I saw Chandler.
And like that was like the biggest attention getter, but he's so introverted that um it was actually like a comfort for him. It was kind of funny. It kind of worked both ways for him. So but meeting the kids their age, they really absolutely love it. Um, some of them they've actually gotten their phone numbers and they've stayed in contact for a little while. I don't think they're in contact with any of them anymore, but they, for a brief period of time, did stay in touch with a few of them. And that's just, I think that's really cool to see them kind of come out a little bit.
I think it's kind of crazy because the first cruise that I ever went on, I think I was about 16 or 17 years old. I didn't go on before I was younger than that. And I was in high school and it was a family vacation. And there was absolutely no way at that time, I'm not going to say how old I am, but to keep in contact or touch other than snail mail with anybody you met on a cruise. I mean, we didn't have cell phones and we didn't have email. I mean, my first email address was when I got into college. So, I really just did date myself, didn't I?
I don't know.
So, how is it different? That's a great question because my experience, my kids aren't there yet. And I mean, I'm dealing with my kids right now. I just don't feel that they're old enough or yet to need that type of connection. They're limited to social media through what Brian and I have and allow in the house. Like they don't have their own, whatever. So what is it like now having these teenagers and preteens, like just getting there and being able to stay in contact with people essentially strangers that they meet on a cruise ship?
Yeah, well, they can't now because they have zero electronics, which I am a big fan of. The cell phones that they use on the cruise ships are actually like Go phones, and they don't have any data on them. They only work on the internet. And so they only have them when we're on the cruise ship so that we can text them through the Carnival Hub app. Philip had an old iPad and it was texting. It's been wiped. So they actually don't keep in contact with any of them anymore. I'm not a huge fan of that. And so I'm not a huge fan of media or technology in general for my kids. I still think they're too young. So that's kind of how I feel about that. I don't like it.
As moms sit here and talk to you on YouTube, we both are in agreement that we limit.
Well, we're adults. We know how to handle different things. They're still developing brains. And I mean,
absolutely.
So.
Listen, I didn't have a cell phone until college. I didn't have an email address until college.
Yeah.
I learned, how to use a mouse somewhere in between there. I don't know, on a computer. And I joke with Brian that, somewhere in my early years, there was a Tandy. A computer was in the house early on. And I remember being told by my father, is my mom still in the chat somewhere? She might be. I remember being told, computers are for work only. We don't play games on computer. And he pulled up the game. It wasn't even Pong. It was like this like digital game of like pool. I was like, it was the coolest thing in the world.
Hey, the Down Under Cruisers are here, driving and listening. Be careful driving. Thanks for joining us. A porthole room, good for. Oh yeah, absolutely. That room doesn't matter. They're not going to be in there. They're going to be in there to sleep and shower. So yeah, you're good. We usually do interior rooms, actually, Anita. So I wouldn't worry about it. If you were empty nesters and were used to cruising alone, would you take your 4 and 2-year-old grandkids?
All right. So listen, you're asking us to jump quite ahead.
Hey!
We're not there yet. But I will say this. My parents go with, come along and they go with and they've brought their grandkids and have a blast. So, it's just a different ball game. But I don't know if I can answer that specifically because I can't put myself in that mind frame yet.
His own wife answered it. Not only would she, but she has. Uh-huh.
That's a good question. What kind of budget do you give your kids? Oh,
So I
tip.
got a good one about this.
All right, go for it.
Okay, we were on the Mardi Gras, and it was the first time that our kids had any kind of freedom on the cruise ship. And we gave them $100 limit. Now, that's for the whole cruise. So each of them had $100. These children went to the arcade the first day and spent the whole $100.
I believe it. It's super easy to do.
I was so mad. And so now they're not allowed to go into the arcade unless we are with them, and we swipe our sign and sell cards. So we actually give them a daily budget. So I go to guest services every day, and I give them a new whatever budget, or every couple of days, however often they need it, because we've got drink packages and things, so they don't really need a lot of extra money. And we don't let them go in there. We're like, don't go in there. You go in there. If we see charges, you get no more money.
I have seen you be pretty, like, play a pretty mean game of claw machine.
I'm pretty good at it.
I'm watching your vlog and I'm like, oh, you got it. So my kids, we actually suggest before we go on a cruise, or not suggest, but like if we're asked or whatever, there's always, birthdays and Christmas and different like events that come up where there's whatever. So family members who are looking for gifts, we suggest maybe arcade credit and things of that sort as good type of gifts.
And Carnival doesn't do that.
It goes like this. I mean, I'm not kidding you. You get on that ship. I'm embarrassed to say this because we've been on the away and we're scheduled to go on again with our group cruise coming up. But I was watching a vlog of somebody else the other day, and I saw that the Oasis of the Seas has games that you can play on your phone on the boardwalk.
Yes.
Do you know that, like, as many times, like, I have never seen, like, it never registered me. I didn't know this, and I didn't see it. So now I can't wait to get on the ship to do this.
Yeah.
I was like, how did I miss this?
And it's free.
Yeah. And I missed it.
Yeah.
So I apologize to everybody who might be out there watching our vlogs that I did not bring that to you. And I promise that we will.
And I
think
would
it's very cool.
Apologize because my kids spent $100 in the arcade on the Vista, not the Mardi Gras. Josh just texted me and corrected me. Eddie, if you want the whole bed to yourself, don't bring anybody else on the cruise with you. Teresa, they are the cutest 2 and 4-year-olds on the planet. I agree. Look, Josh is correcting me in the chat too. Wait, right here.
Oh, sorry. I just put up
do it again. There you go.
Our 15-year-old spent $250. He won half the plushies in the cruise. He took the entire carry-on.
Oh my gosh.
I love that he brought him on. I love it. I love it.
Oh my gosh, that is hysterical. I would die. I would be like, seriously, we're giving them all away. Oh, that's terrible. Yeah, I do like a claw game. I will say that the adult claw games catch my attention when I'm walking through. If you know, you know. I've never won from them either. Yes, that is so true. And what I was saying, I don't know if you heard me, and I know you know this. Carnival doesn't do the arcade credits that you can purchase ahead of time like Royal does. And I really like that Royal does that, because I'd love to be able to say, okay, kids, here is your arcade money, and it can't be used for anything else. You can use it until it's gone, and when it's gone, it's gone. I would love to give them an arcade budget that's strictly for arcade, but I can't.
We did have an issue with that on the Harmony of the Seas, though. We did run into like a hiccup where like the kid, like their card wasn't working, so then we swiped ours and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I think we worked it out, but it did take them like go waiting in the line at guest services and a little bit of time and whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah. But Katie finished her credit like that.
Oh yeah, my it would be gone in like a day, like literally within an hour, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't know how to budget. I just don't get it.
But
you know what? Is Beth your mom?
Mm-hmm.
You know what?
That's my mom.
I agree with mom. We need to get our 15-year-old on the cash crane game. Yeah. I don't know if it's legal, but yeah. Funnel heads, I take that back. After a spa treatment, the crazy products they try to sell you is the most overpriced items, but then the arcade. Listen, I don't know about you, but as a mom, Josh tries to send me to the spa every cruise. Not every. I mean, he offers every cruise. I don't always go, but he's and I appreciate it. I hate the upsell.
I who likes the upsell?
I hate it. And what's really bad is I usually blame it on him. I'm like, I gotta go talk to my husband, and see and blah blah blah. And then the last time we went, we had a couples massage, and I couldn't blame it on him. It's like,
Did
well,
he did he cave? Was he like, sometimes they're all like,
no, 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 no.
no,
Brian from How We Cruise, what things do you need to pack for kids that the dads don't? Everything?
everything. All right, true story. There's so many. I mean, but my brain immediately goes to the day that we were getting off. We are gonna go to Cozumel. We were gonna go to Mr. Sancho's, and I'm like, guys, we make the kids. This isn't even packing to go on the cruise. This is once we're on the cruise. So, all right, kids, get your string bags. We always make the kids carry their own string bag with anything they're gonna need. So it's usually a towel, maybe like a mask or something like a snorkel, or something like that. I carry the sunscreen, so it's nothing like that, but like very, very minimal.
Just their personal stuff.
Yeah, we're getting off the ship. All right, guys, go get your stuff. And like, it's like they don't need any. Oh no, we're ready to go. We don't have a towel. We don't have our bag. We don't have anything. And I'm like, what do you think is going on here? We're getting ready to leave, and it's like, oh, and one's got a bag here and upside down there. So anyway, what do you make sure is in your bag? Because you know that the kids and Josh is gonna forget it.
See, I ask everybody 1,000 times if they have their sign and sale cards because I'm always the one who leaves it in the room.
We have a story about that too, but your sign and sale sign on there. So my niece and nephew, we were on a ship and they were in their own room and they had 2 key cards. They had a card because this is another topic. Let's talk about how to get kids in different rooms on a ship. So they were, I'm going to come back to that. We can come back to that because I think we both have some similar ways of doing that. But my parents brought my minor niece and nephew. And so my mom and my niece were in one room and my dad and my nephew were in the other room. But of course they were literally across the hall. And so we were next door. So we're all right there. And they're a little bit older. They're actually a little bit older than your kids. Mm-hmm. And we're getting off the ship and their key card, because we'd switched rooms, was just a key card. It wasn't their actually sail pass or sail and frank card. So they go to get off the ship and they just have their key card. Like, you can't get off the boat with the ship. Meanwhile, my parents are off the ship. We're off the ship. My poor niece is the last one online. She's like, what do you mean I can't get off the ship? She's all by herself right there. I mean, clearly we were only on the other side.
Right.
I make this sound way worse than it was. But I laugh because, you definitely have to make sure they have everything.
This is the best idea I've ever heard. Pretend to have to go to the bathroom and then leave before the sales pitch. It's not a half bad idea. Oh, man, I can't hold it. Your mom says to bring water bottles for sea lice.
Sea lice, for sure.
Why do you need water bottles for sea lice?
Yeah, so sea lice, for anybody who doesn't know, because I did not know that this is what sea lice were. Sea lice are baby jellyfish. They're little, like, jellyfish. I don't know if they're larvae or, like, no, I mean, like, they're, like, baby jellyfish. Yeah. We have pictures of them. They look like tiny little, they look like barnacles in the ocean. Have you seen them?
No, I've heard of them. I know they're a thing, but that's it.
We do have a video. Our latest video in NASA actually has pictures of it. So if you want to see what they look like, you can look at that video. And I actually kind of tried to zoom in on it. if you see these little tons of barnacles in the ocean,
Don't get in there.
swear, do not go in the ocean. We were trying to catch them. We thought they were the coolest things. We're like, what the heck is this? I was kind of skeeved by them, but at the same time, we're like,
Yeah.
ooh, what is this? Well, it turns out that they do sting, but you don't feel it right away.
Okay.
It takes some time. We
Right.
have Katie and Kev and Brian, all of us, myself included, were covered in these baby jellyfish
Oh
stings.
my gosh.
And there is some controversy out there. If you read the internet or if you had your own experience, some people will say that vinegar does not work. I beg to differ because it has to do with the pH of the little barnacles that get in your skin or whatever. So vinegar doesn't work.
So what does?
Urine.
Oh, great.
Pee. So if you've ever heard to pee on a jellyfish sting,
Yeah.
people will tell you it doesn't work. I will tell you, hand to God, instantaneously. We did not have a water bottle filled with vinegar with us.
Did you pee on yourselves?
No. I swear to God, I'm not even kidding you. I had an empty water bottle. I gave it to. He's gonna kill me for this. I gave it to Brian. I said, I don't care how far away you have to go pee in that water bottle. I found. And we just lost 15 subscribers. Yeah, I made, and then I found a hair scrunchie of Katie's, who's to this day has not let me live down that I used her hair scrunchie and then threw it in the garbage because we were not watching the hair scrunchie. And I dabbed it all over because Kevin was like screaming. He was almost like rolling in the sand and on the chairs in tears. Like, he was in so much pain. When your kid is in that much pain, you will go to any length that you need to.
Oh, if anybody left early, they just missed the best part of the whole life. Oh my gosh. And listen. See, Lice. Laura says that's it. I'm ankle deep only, but look here. Josh says Chastity has peed on him. after he was stung by jellyfish.
Listen, this train is off the rails a long time ago.
Oh, that's the way we roll. You know that. And listen, you're on a live with Have Luggage Will Travel. We only live off the rails.
Listen, there's no filter here.
No.
It was ugly. It was ugly. Yeah.
Oh, that's hysterical.
It was ugly.
Oh,
but I don't know. I mean, I feel like we have so much more to talk about. I want to talk about. I just want to like highlight kids meals. Didn't get to talk about, but I think that maybe we need to start to wrap it up. But we didn't talk about yet how to book.
Yeah. More
than 2 or 4 people in a cabin because we have a family of 5. You have a family of 4. We have a family of 5, and booking 5 people on a cruise is extremely difficult.
Yeah,
I know that there's other people out there that we've talked to, and since we've been helping other people book, it is really difficult. It is really a challenge. So we have a lot of tips on how to book families. If you want 2 cabins, if you want a suite, if you want to switch that up, right. We do have more tips on what should you make sure that you have. We have more tips on how to deal with those. I want to say for my kids at the ages they are, those meltdowns, but maybe for your kids, those adolescent.
Yeah, and sometimes kids are not very nice at that age, at my kids' age.
Well, at any age.
So it could be that they get in there and they're miserable and they hate it, and then we're back to square one.
And you know what? It's something I didn't even think about, but I'm just going to jump on it right now, and we'll talk about it in the future. But it's just like, how about parenting in public?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like when you're behind your closed doors at home,
it's different.
Like you can parent, and nobody's judging you, right? But let's face it, I don't care if you're in Target, if you're in Walmart, if you're in the grocery store, if you're at the gas station, or if you're on a cruise, or if you're in a theme park. When you're parenting your kid in public, everyone who sees you is going to have a different opinion on how you're doing it and how you're doing it right or how you're doing it wrong.
Yep.
So we could talk a little bit about that too, because I definitely have some stories about about that.
And listen, any of you guys that are still here, if you think of some questions during the week, jot them down. If you want to make a video, we're happy to share screen and play your video and then answer your question. You just need to email it to either Julie or myself. The guys can drop our emails in the chat for you. But get us your questions, and let us know what you want us to talk about. Talk about it with us. We're here, and it doesn't have to be just from a mom. I know that we've got some single dads in here or some stay-at-home dads in here or whatever the case may be. So, we want to, and our husbands are here. They can chime in the chat. We're not allowing them on the screen because
we will bring them in once in a while. I don't know.
I don't think so.
I just thought of a really great idea for a vlog.
Okay, what?
I think that we should send the guys and the kids on a cruise without us.
Or, even better. We send them on a cruise without us, and we go on a cruise together without them at the same time.
You're brilliant.
I know. I try. Pat myself on the back for that one.
All right. Well, guys, it's getting late. We love y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. We had a great time. We do have a lot of more content or a lot more topics to talk about. We do want to hear your questions. We want to hear your stories. So,
thank y'all for being here for the inaugural mothership.
Mothership.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thank you, Laura. Thanks, Grit.
Yes.
Thanks, guys. Thanks everyone. And listen, Amanda, I know what you're going to say, so I'll say, I hope we see you on the seas.
And if you have luggage, you should be traveling.
Bye. Bye.